Money, the enigmatic force that shapes our lives. It paints an array of opportunities and strategies, beckoning us to embrace its allure in the promising year of 2024. But amidst these pursuits, there's a looming shadow: pornography, an alluring trap that threatens to derail our ambitions, of which I'm going to break down the best way to overcome that BS, and which has been scientifically proven, but no one is talking about it or even mentioning it. So do yourself well to subscribe. As we navigate the labyrinth of money-making possibilities, it's crucial to steer clear of distractions. Let's uncover some powerful strategies while safeguarding our focus from the pitfalls of the digital age. 3. Uncovering money-making possibilities. Ever wondered about the untapped potential in real estate? It's not just buying and selling properties. It's the art of finding hidden gems. Consider this. In 2023, a small, overlooked warehouse in Brooklyn, New York, transformed into a thriving co-working space, generating a 400% return on investment within a year. Venturing into the world of stocks and investments can be equally rewarding. Did you know that investing in sustainable energy stocks in the last 5 years outperformed traditional oil investments by a staggering 67%? Embracing technology, like exploring the potential of NFTs, non-fungible tokens, is akin to tapping into a digital gold mine. In 2023, an artist's collection of NFTs fetched a record-breaking $69 million, showcasing the power of innovation in the digital art space. 2. Strategies for financial success. Strategizing your financial journey requires a blend of innovation and resilience. One effective tactic? Diversification. Spreading your investments across various sectors acts as a shield against market volatility. Moreover, mastering the art of budgeting is akin to wielding a potent tool. By tracking expenses meticulously, you create a roadmap to financial freedom. Consider the power of compounding. Albert Einstein referred to it as the eighth wonder of the world. Starting early and consistently investing can yield exponential returns over time. 1. Navigating the threat of porn in 2024. Whoa, hold on. For more videos that you will rarely see anywhere, do yourself a good thing to subscribe to this channel and leave you opinions and questions in the comments section. I am happy to reply you as soon as possible. So I think we can move now. As we chart our course toward financial prosperity, a formidable adversary lurks in the shadows: pornography. Its insidious grip can sabotage focus, productivity, and mental well-being, derailing even the most ambitious plans. Research reveals that excessive consumption of pornography can lead to decreased motivation, impacting professional and personal growth. However, there's hope amidst this challenge. Practicing mindfulness and setting boundaries with technology can fortify our resolve. Engaging in hobbies, physical activities, and fostering meaningful connections acts as a shield against the allure of the screen. Taking proactive steps, seeking support, and nurturing a healthy relationship with technology can empower us to reclaim control over our lives in this digital age. So, in conclusion, the tapestry of money-making possibilities and strategies. Let's remember, a clear focus and resilience pave the path to success. As we step into 2024, let's safeguard our ambitions, protect our mental sanctity, and pursue our financial dreams with unwavering determination. After all, amidst the cacophony of aspirations and distractions, it's our resilience and mindfulness that carve the legacy we leave behind in the sands of time. Here's to a prosperous and fulfilling 2024, where dreams meet reality and aspirations take flight.